Hello, everyone. It's good to see you. Hope you're doing great. I'm going to do a video today to help you prepare for a class um, coming up in week 11, where we're going to talk about affordable housing finance part 2. And you'll recall earlier in this semester, I had a module called Microsoft Excel Prep. And in that module, there were links and instructions on how to download Microsoft Excel and Microsoft Office. And there was also a link to LinkedIn Learning, where if you needed it, you could get free help on how to do an Excel spreadsheet. So I hope you've been able to make use of the Excel download. You'll need it for our next module, or module 11, where we'll talk about spreadsheets and how to do it. So on your screen right now is something called a pro forma. We're going to deal with it in much more depth, but essentially a pro forma is an analytical tool. A spreadsheet is an analytical tool to help you look at financial data for a housing project and for many other uses too. The way spreadsheets work, you enter data in these boxes, which are called cells. And so we're going to take a look more in depth at that. I'm going to walk through a document, a PDF that goes through many more instructions, but essentially let's start with taking a quick look at these tabs. So the first is called Table of Contents. The next is Development Budget. And you can see in all these yellow cells that there's no information that has been put on there. So I'm giving you a blank spreadsheet that you can fill in data on. And your task in prep for this module is going to be to input data that you'll find on the PDF that we're going to go through in a minute. So this first tab is called the Development Budget. The next tab is called Income and Expenses. The next tab is called DOH Financing. And then, wow, there's a whole bunch of information on this tab, which we're not going to worry about as we prepare for the module. We will look at it more in depth in the module, but you don't have to worry about it yet as part of this prep. So I'm going to go back here and I am going to switch screens to this PDF document. And I have a couple of different classes that I teach. This is a non-credit called Intro to Affordable Housing Finance. And this is homework that class does. And so this walks you through all the data entry on that. So this first part of the spreadsheet is really how you can get this document if you're doing a rental housing pro forma from the start. And you're not going to have to worry about it. I'm going to provide you with that blank spreadsheet. And so as we move through this, you're going to be inputting data that you'll see in this document in a little bit, and you'll be putting it in the yellow cells in the spreadsheet file. And once you do that, the spreadsheet will start automatically calculating based on what you've put in. So let's talk first about what you're going to put in each of these tabs, starting with the first tab that I showed you, the Table of Contents tab. And I'll walk through this first through this PDF, and then later I'll show you on the actual spreadsheet. So all you're going to do on the Table of Contents tab, you'll see a drop down that says Type of Project, and you're going to hit rental. That's it for that tab. Easy enough. The next tab over to the right is called the Dev Budget tab or Development Budget tab. So what you're going to put there, let me make this a little bigger. What you're going to first put in the top yellow box is the project name. So you can call it whatever you want. You can call it the Andy Apartments or the Joe Apartments or the Susie Apartments, whatever you want to name it. For the applicant name, put your name. So whatever your name is, first and last, put that in there. You'll see a drop down that says county, and you're going to select Denver, and I'll again show you how that works. And then the date submitted, put the date you're doing this homework on. So most of the inputs that we're going to do are going to be highlighted in dark green. But unfortunately, the spreadsheet is locked, and so this first spreadsheet tab is locked. And so you'll see blue text on that spreadsheet or on that PDF file. And so what you want to do is transfer or copy over the blue text into the spreadsheet. You may have to retype this information, and that's okay. It's going to be a little work, but that's okay. The next tab over to your right is going to be the Income and Expense tab. And so on that tab, in this document, in a couple of pages, you're going to see cells that are highlighted dark green. You're going to take the information in the dark green highlighted cells, and you're going to data enter it into the yellow highlighted cell on the actual spreadsheet file. You'll see some light green highlighted cells. You don't have to worry about those. Those are going to auto-calculate. And if a cell in this PDF is highlighted in dark green, but it doesn't have any information on it, you can leave it blank in the actual spreadsheet. The last tab you need to worry about is the DOH Financing tab. And similar to the last tab you looked at, that has some stuff, some cells highlighted in dark green, and whatever it says in this PDF highlighted in dark green, you're going to data enter in the spreadsheet, and you'll be putting it in the yellow highlighted cells. And again, I'll show you exactly how that's going to work, both in the PDF and in the spreadsheet itself. So let's then take a look at what these are copies. These are screenshots of what the actual spreadsheet looks like. And you'll see here on the Table of Contents tab that there's a drop down right here, and you're going to select rental. That's all you have to do on this tab, and you'll move to the next one, which is called Dev Budget or Development Budget. And so I said that this spreadsheet, this tab on the spreadsheet, I wasn't able to highlight because the tab is locked, but the information on these cells are what you're going to input on the actual spreadsheet. So where it says land in a blank cell, you'll type in 300. Where it says on-site infrastructure, you'll type in 200,000. Next one down, on-site, off-site infrastructure, you'll type in 810,000, and so on down the page. And remember this number, 27,619,263. So this example of this project cost $27 million, $27,619,263. $263. So just remember that number for a minute. Let's go to the next tab, and you'll see a lot of green in here. So the information in here that's in dark green, you'll similarly enter in the spreadsheet. And so some of these are drop-down boxes in the spreadsheet, and I'll show you how that works. You'll also see some cells which have the number 0 in it, so you don't have to enter anything there. You'll see these cells that are dark green, and you don't have to enter anything in there. I'll be doing some work with you on that later on in the module. And again, you'll go down the page on the spreadsheet and enter these numbers. So 54,741, 43,500, and so on. If a cell is blank, even though it's highlighted, on this PDF, you don't have to put anything in the spreadsheet. Similarly, you'll see a bunch of information here. Some of it is in drop-down boxes, and I'll show you that on the actual spreadsheet. And when you're done with this spreadsheet for this homework, everything that you see filled in will match on the spreadsheet that you're going to fill out. Last is this DOH Proforma tab. And again, you don't have to worry about entering anything on here. So let's switch to the actual spreadsheet, which I'll provide you, and you can see how this is actually going to work. So first, on the Table of Contents tab, it's going to say Select Project Type, and all you have to do is hit Rental. That's it for this tab. So the next tab, the Development Budget tab, again, the PDF is not highlighted in green, but you'll see things in blue text. And so, for instance, I think the land cost was $300,000. So I'm going to take whatever number was in the PDF and I'll type it here. And similarly, I think the on-site infrastructure was $1,810,000. Whatever the number on the PDF, type it in here, and so on down the line. So I'm going to get rid of those. And I mentioned that on the PDF, the total development expenses was $27,619,623, or something around there. So a good way to make sure that the number you're entering is correct is once you get done entering these, compare what you have on this spreadsheet to what's in the PDF for total development expenses, and those numbers should match. Okay, let's take a look at the Income and Expense tab. So the first box on this tab on the PDF was a 1-bedroom, 1-bath. So you hit the drop down, you'll get a selection of units. All these are going to be unsubsidized. So just put whatever the spreadsheet or whatever the PDF has, and you can follow that. And again, whatever information is on the PDF, you'll copy onto here, or you'll data enter onto here. So it's 30% AMI. I can't remember offhand the number of units. Let's say it's 2, but whatever's in the PDF. You'll type in the square footage and the monthly rent. So the monthly rent was $733. And sorry, I'm going to do a little bit of spreadsheet spreadsheeting in here, I typed something in the wrong box, but it'll be corrected in here in your spreadsheet blank that you get. And let me give you an example on this next line. So I'm going to say 40% AMI, whatever number of units, whatever square foot, and then I'm going to put the rent, and the rent will be $733 or whatever. So for some reason, this isn't calculating. Oh, I know why. Hold on. I missed this box. Sorry about that. So remember in here, you're going to put the project name. So I'm going to call these Andy's Apartments. I'll put my name. Here's the crucial thing I missed. I want to select a Colorado County. That'll be Denver. And then I'm completing this October 14th. So let's go back to the income and expense. So what I hadn't done was select the county. So these will fill in. You don't have to worry about that for the purposes of this homework. We'll talk about that when we go through this lesson. So then you're going to go through and enter these numbers based on whatever it says in the PDF. And a good reality check, a good way to double check the numbers is if total annual expenses here matches what's in the PDF, you know you've entered the right numbers. If this number is different, or if the total development expenses is different than what's in the PDF, you should look at the numbers and double check that you've entered them correctly. Here, again, these are zeros for both of these in the PDF, and it's 2,000 on the PDF, so we'll put that. And then on the PDF, these are all highlighted green, but they're blank, so you can just leave those as is. And then the last tab we'll worry about is DOH financing. So you will type in whatever is on the PDF here, and you'll see the drop down for tax exempt or non-tax exempt. You'll match whatever's in the spreadsheet, in the PDF. Same thing with all of these boxes. There's a drop down that says interest only. For all those, select no. The spreadsheet will do all the rest, and you'll fill this out in all the PDF green boxes. You'll put information here. I know it seems like a lot of work. I know it seems like a lot of prep. Once you get started, it shouldn't take you that long. If you don't know spreadsheets and you're struggling, or if anything in this homework mystifies you or you get stuck, just reach out to me. So you know how to find me, you guys. You can make an appointment on Teams. You can come to my office hours. You can email me. This should not be that terrible of an exercise for you, and it may even be fun. Hopefully it's okay. But again, reach out if you have any questions on this. Thank you guys for hanging with these instructions, and I will see you in class soon or through video. Thanks, y'all.